What kind of man mocks his wife's pie in front of his family, knowing she poured her heart into it? I'm Clare Morrison, 35, standing in my kitchen with flour dusting my violet apron, the one Mom gave me before she passed. My auburn hair's tied back, and I'm checking the pecan pie for the 10th time, its amber glaze catching the November light like a promise. This is our annual post-Thanksgiving dessert gathering with my husband Mark's family. A tradition I dread, yet strive to perfect. Mark's BMW hums into the garage, the slam of his door sharper than usual, signaling a rough day at the office. He's 38, still fit from his lacrosse days, his confidence filling our suburban Virginia home like the scotch he's about to pour. Ethan, our 10-year-old, leans in the doorway, his green eyes, mine, not Mark's, watching me with a mix of amusement and worry that's too old for his years. "Mom, you've checked that pie enough," he says, and I smile, the knot in my chest loosening for a moment. Tonight, Mark's parents, Harold and Janet, and his siblings, Sophie and Alan, will judge every detail, from the pie's crust to my navy dress, chosen to blend in to avoid their scrutiny. I've been navigating their disapproval for years, swallowing Mark's sharp comments to keep the peace for Ethan's sake. But there's a crack in the air tonight, something brittle and ready to break. Ethan's noticed it too, his quiet observation cutting through my forced calm. Mark strides in, loosening his tie, his eyes scanning the kitchen like it's a balance sheet. "Smells like you've been busy," he says, and I can't tell if it's praise or a jab. These days, I'm never sure. I smooth the apron, my fingers brushing the soft cotton as I move to the counter, the scent of roasted pecans and buttery crust filling the room. The pie's perfect, every nut arranged in concentric circles, the filling set just right, not too runny, not too firm. Mom's recipe, passed down through 3 generations of Southern women who knew how to make a kitchen sing. I've made it dozens of times, but today I measured every teaspoon twice, stirred with a precision that borders on obsession. "Mom, it looks amazing," Ethan says, peering over the counter, his dark hair flopping into his eyes. "Way better than Grandma Janet's store-bought stuff she pretends she made." I try to scold him, but my smile betrays me. "We don't say that, sweetheart, even if it's true." His eyes hold a flicker of something, concern maybe, or understanding, and it makes my heart ache. He's been noticing things lately, the way Mark's words cut, the way I tense when the garage door opens. I want to shield him from that, but he's too sharp, too perceptive. Mark's voice carries from the mudroom, where he's pouring his scotch. "It's just dessert, Claire, not a state dinner." The dismissiveness stings, a familiar pinprick I've learned to ignore. 6 months ago, I might have argued, reminded him his mother demanded homemade desserts, that her comments about last year's slightly overdone tart lingered for weeks. But arguing only escalates, and with Ethan here, I choose silence. "I'll shower," Mark says, already halfway up the stairs. "Try not to burn anything." Ethan moves closer, his small hand brushing mine. "Why does Dad say stuff like that?" I pause, folding a dish towel I've already folded twice. How do I explain to a 10-year-old that love can sour, that the man who brought me flowers every Friday now finds fault in everything? Sometimes people say things they don't mean when they're stressed. I manage, the words hollow even to me. Ethan doesn't buy it, but he doesn't push, helping me set the dining room table instead, placing the Wedgwood china with care. By 5:45, I've changed into the navy dress Mark bought last Christmas. Conservative, forgettable, safe. My makeup subtle, my jewelry minimal, everything calculated to avoid attention. The doorbell rings at 6 sharp. Harold and Janet Morrison never arrive late. Janet air kisses my cheek, her lips never touching, and says, "The house looks clean," her compliment laced with judgment. Harold hands me his coat, his eyes already seeking Mark. Sophie and Alan arrive next, Sophie's false brightness grating as she says, "You look rested, Claire," implying my life as a homemaker is a vacation. I hang their coats, catching Sophie's whisper to Janet, "Let's see if she messes this up again." My cheeks burn, but I breathe deep, focusing on the clink of glasses as I set out drinks. Dinner goes smoothly, chicken roasted to perfection, vegetables seasoned just right, but I stay quiet, refilling glasses, clearing plates, avoiding their barbs. Then dessert. I set the pie on the table, its golden crust gleaming. Mark takes a slow bite, his expression shifting to that smirk he wears when he's about to win at someone else's expense. Even the dog could do better, he says, pushing his plate away. Sophie laughs, sharp and delighted. Alan snorts. Harold shakes his head. Janet's small smile cuts deepest. I stare at my untouched slice, heat flooding my face. The pie's perfect. I know it is. But Mark's word is law here. Ethan's spoon clinks hard against his plate, his anger palpable. I suggest coffee in the living room, my voice barely a whisper, but then Ethan speaks, clear and steady. Tell them about New York. 5 words, and Mark's smirk vanishes, his face paling. The room stills, and I feel the air shift, like a door I didn't know existed just swung open. I don't know what Ethan means, but Mark's panic tells me it's everything. The words Ethan spoke. Tell them about New York. Hang in my mind like smoke, curling through every thought as I stack the dessert plates, my hands trembling. Mark's face, drained of color, replays in my head, his knuckles white around his wine glass. What does our son know that could unravel him like that? The dining room's laughter has faded, replaced by an awkward hum, as Mark steers the conversation to safer ground. Stock markets, the weather, while his family sips coffee, their eyes darting between us. I move through the motions, pouring cream, passing sugar, my smile a practiced mask. But inside I'm spinning. Ethan's upstairs now, excused after his bombshell, and I'm alone in the kitchen, scraping pie crust into the trash, the scent of pecans souring in my throat. I should be furious at Mark's cruelty, but all I feel is a sharp curiosity, a need to understand what made him flinch. As I hang Mark's suit jacket in the hall closet, a slip of paper flutters to the floor. A receipt from the Carilla Hotel in Manhattan, dated November 12th, 2 weeks ago. My breath catches. Mark told me he was in Chicago that week, stuck in meetings, missing Ethan's school play where he's shown as Thomas Edison. I sent him a video, and he texted back apologies, claiming late client dinners. I shoved the receipt into my apron pocket, my pulse racing. The Carilli's no-budget hotel, 5 stars, the kind of place you don't book for a quick business lunch. I hear Mark's voice from the dining room, laughing too loudly at Alan's joke, and I know I can't ask him now, not with his family here. Not when he's already on edge. After they leave, Janet's goodbyes stiff, Sophie whispering, "What was that about?" in my ear. I stand in the silent hallway, listening to Mark's muffled voice from his office. He's on the phone, speaking low, urgent. I can't make out the words, but the tone's enough, defensive, almost desperate. I climb the stairs to Ethan's room, where he's sitting on his bed, bathed in the soft glow of his nightlight. A book open but unread. "Ethan," I say softly, sitting beside him, "what was that about New York?" He looks at me, his green eyes too serious for a 10-year-old. "I'll tell you later, Mom. I promise. I just couldn't let Dad keep being mean to you." My throat tightens and I kiss his forehead, whispering, "I love you." He smiles faintly. "Your pie was perfect. Grandma's just jealous." Back downstairs, I can't settle. Mark's still in his office, the door firmly shut, and the house feels heavier, like it's holding its breath. I pull the receipt from my pocket, smoothing it out on the kitchen counter. The Carilla Hotel, $2,400 for 3 nights. 3 nights, not a quick trip, not a client dinner. My fingers tremble as I grab my laptop, logging into our shared credit card account. Mark handles the finances, always has, but I know the passwords. I scroll through the November statement, my heart pounding. There it is, the Carilla charge, plus others. $1,200 at Tiffany & Co., $650 at Daniel, a Michelin-starred restaurant, $890 at Bergdorf Goodman, all in New York, all during his supposed Chicago trip. I take screenshots, emailing them to an old account Mark doesn't know about, my hands moving on instinct. I think back to Ethan's words, his calm defiance at the table. He knows something, saw something. I slip back upstairs, careful not to creak the floorboards. Ethan's asleep now, his tablet on the nightstand. I hesitate, then pick it up, unlocking it with the passcode he shared last summer. There, in his photos, is a screenshot from Mark's phone, taken when it was left in the car during soccer practice. An incoming call from Rachel, New York, with a heart emoji. Another screenshot shows a text preview. "Can't wait to see you again, same hotel." My stomach lurches. Ethan's note below reads, "Dad got weird when I gave his phone back." I set the tablet down, my mind racing. Rachel, who is she? A client? A colleague? Something else? The shower's running. Mark's finally out of his office. I slip downstairs, the receipt still burning in my pocket. I think of all the late nights, the business trips, the way Mark's charm has curdled into contempt over the past year. I've ignored the signs, rationalized the distance, told myself it's stress, that I'm imagining things. But Ethan's 5 words and this receipt have cracked that illusion wide open. I don't know what's in New York, but I know it's not nothing. As I wipe down the already clean counter, I feel a shift inside me. Not anger yet, but a quiet resolve. I've spent years keeping the peace, swallowing hurts, perfecting pies to avoid criticism. But now I want answers. I want the truth. And I'm done pretending everything's fine. The receipt from the Cruelty Hotel sits folded in my pocket, a sharp edge against my thigh as I pour coffee the next morning, the kitchen still heavy with the scent of last night's pie. Mark's already gone for his Sunday run, or so he says, and I'm left with Ethan's words echoing in my head. Tell them about New York. His screenshots, Rachel New York, heart emoji, that damning text, have lodged themselves in my mind like splinters. I'm not imagining things anymore. The man who once brought me flowers every Friday is hiding something, and I'm done waiting for it to unravel on its own. Ethan's at the table, pushing pancakes around his plate, his green eyes flicking to me with a worry that breaks my heart. Are you and Dad getting divorced? He asks, his voice small but direct. The question hits like a stone, and I reach for his hand. Let's not worry about that now, sweetheart. Adults have complicated things to work through. But his question lingers, a reminder that he sees more than I've wanted to admit. After breakfast, I settle at the kitchen nook with my laptop, the house quiet except for the hum of the fridge. I've always respected Mark's privacy, trusting that's what good wives do. But that trust feels like a lie now. I log into our shared cloud storage, where we keep family photos, tax documents, and Mark's work files. My fingers hesitate over the keyboard, but I click into his folders, my pulse quickening. Most are what I expect. Spreadsheets, client presentations, financial projections. But then I find it, buried 3 folders deep, NYC planning. Inside are restaurant reservations, theater tickets, a confirmation for a couple's spa day at the Cruelty Hotel, all dated within the last 6 months, all during Mark's business trips. My breath catches at a PDF from a Soho jeweler, a custom platinum bracelet with engraved coordinates, $3,800, bought 2 weeks ago. My birthday's months away, our anniversary long past. This isn't for me. I screenshot everything, my hands shaking as I save them to my secret email. The charges align with the credit card statements. Daniel, Tiffany, Bergdorf Goodman, all romantic, not business. I think of Mark's dismissive tone last night, his quick lie about a client dinner in New York. He's been sloppy, leaving traces of a life I didn't know existed. I need more, something undeniable. I slip upstairs to our bedroom, where Mark's gym bag sits by the closet. He's still out, the clock ticking toward noon. I rummage beneath his workout clothes and find it. A cheap prepaid phone, powered off. My heart pounds as I turn it on, revealing one contact, R. The text history is a gut punch. Can't wait to wake up next to you again. Last night was incredible. My wife's getting suspicious. We need to be more careful. I read until my eyes burn, photographing each message, my fingers numb. I'm falling for you, Mark. This isn't just fun anymore. The most recent thread from just days ago chills me. Family dinner was a disaster. The kid knows something. Mark's reply, no idea how, but I handled it. Then Rachel, maybe it's time to tell her. I'm tired of hiding. Mark's response is cold, not yet. I need to protect my assets first. I nearly dropped the phone. He's planning a divorce on his terms, ensuring he comes out ahead while I'm left with nothing. I put the phone back exactly as I found it, my mind racing. Ethan's at the door, watching me. Mom, you okay? I force a smile. Just organizing, sweetheart. But he knows better, his eyes too wise for his age. I send him to play in his room, needing space to think. I call Maya, my college roommate, now a paralegal with a no-nonsense edge. She answers on the first ring. Claire, how was the family dinner from hell? I swallow hard. I need your help, Maya, off the record. Her tone shifts instantly. Come over now. An hour later, I'm in her sunny kitchen, the credit card statements and screenshots spread between us. She whistles low. This is thorough. How long's this been going on? At least 6 months, I say, my voice oddly detached. Maya's fingers fly over her laptop, pulling up Rachel Thompson's LinkedIn. She's 32, an investment analyst at a firm that works with Mark's company, her polished blonde headshot exuding confidence. Started 8 months ago, Maya reads. Divorced 2 years ago in London. Her ex cited adultery with her married boss. A pattern. My stomach twists. Is Mark just another conquest or something more? Maya closes her laptop. You need a lawyer, Claire. This isn't just an affair, it's calculated. I nod, but I'm not ready yet. I need something he can't deny, I say. He's too smart, too connected. I have to be smarter. As I drive home, the November air feels sharper, like it's cutting through the fog I've lived in for years. I'm not just a homemaker anymore. I'm a woman with a mission. The prepaid phone's messages burn in my mind as I sit at the kitchen table, the house quiet except for Ethan's soft footsteps upstairs. Mark's words, "Protect my assets," echo like a betrayal sharper than the affair itself. He's not just cheating, he's planning to leave me with nothing, all while I've been perfecting pies to keep his family's approval. The November light slants through the window, catching the dust motes, and I feel like one of them, weightless, unseen, drifting through a life I've let others define. But not anymore. I clutch the screenshots I've emailed to myself, evidence of Mark's secret life with Rachel Thompson. And I know I need a plan, something airtight to expose him. Maya's words ring true. He's too connected, too slick to crumble under a half-baked confrontation. I need to be strategic, to turn his own arrogance against him. I meet Maya again Monday morning at her downtown office, a cramped space cluttered with legal files and coffee mugs. She's already digging deeper, her laptop open to Rachel's Instagram, private but tagged in her firm's posts. One photo from a gala 3 months ago stops me cold. Rachel in a red dress, laughing, and in the background, blurry but unmistakable, Mark. He told me he was in Boston that weekend, visiting his college roommate. I remember texting him about Ethan's soccer game. His reply clipped, "Busy, we'll call later." Maya scrolls further, matching restaurant posts to our credit card charges. Daniel, the same night Mark claimed a Chicago client dinner. A Broadway show, the same weekend he missed Ethan's play. She's careful, Maya says, but not careful enough. She pulls up court records next. Rachel's divorce in London cited her affair with a married boss, confirming her pattern. Mark's not her first, Maya says, her voice grim. You need Diane Hartley, a divorce lawyer who eats guys like Mark for breakfast. Diane's office is sleek, all glass and steel, and she's as sharp as her reputation. I spread my evidence across her desk. Screenshots, credit card statements, the burner phone texts. You've done well, she says, her pen tapping the papers. But adultery doesn't sway asset division much here unless we prove he's squandering marital funds. I point to the $3,800 bracelet, to the $2,400 hotel stays. He'll claim business expenses, Diane counters. We need a confession or witnesses. An idea sparks, risky but exhilarating. What if I get him to admit it in front of his family? Diane's eyebrow lifts. That'd work, but how? I smile, plan forming. Leave that to me. Back home, I move carefully, like I'm handling fragile glass. Mark's at work, but I check his office, finding more receipts. Careless, arrogant. A $200 dinner at Le Bernardin, another New York charge. I add it to my folder, my resolve hardening. Ethan's at school, and I hate lying to him, but I tell him I'm running errands when I slip out to meet Maya again. She's found more. Rachel's posts mention weekend escapes that align with Mark's trips, and a colleague's comment on one photo names Mark explicitly. It's not enough for court, but it's fuel for my plan. I need the Morrisons, Harold, Janet, Sophie, Alan, to see Mark's lies for themselves. Their disapproval has crushed me for years, but now it's my weapon. Tuesday, I call Janet, my voice pitched with just enough hesitation to hook her. Janet, I'm sorry about Ethan's outburst at Thanksgiving. He's been saying odd things, mentioning some woman named Rachel. I'm worried he's making up stories for attention. Janet's voice sharpens. She lives for family drama, especially when it's about reputation. We need to address this, she declares. Come for dinner Thursday. All of us. I protest weakly. Mark's in Philadelphia for a conference. I'll call him, she snaps. He'll delay it. I hang up, my heart pounding. Mark can't refuse his mother, and he won't have time to warn Rachel. The trap is set. Wednesday night, Mark's furious, pacing our bedroom. You involve my mother? I have meetings, Claire. I keep my voice soft, innocent. She insisted, worried about Ethan's behavior. He rubs his face, calculating. Fine, we say he's acting out, school stress, united front. I nod, hiding my satisfaction. Thursday morning, I choose a burgundy dress I haven't worn in years. One Mark once said made me look like I was trying too hard. Today, I am. Ethan senses the shift, his eyes bright as we get ready. "You look nice, Mom," he says, like you're going somewhere important. I squeeze his hand. "We are, sweetheart." I check my purse, screenshots, statements, Ethan's tablet with the burner phone evidence. Mark's phone buzzes as we leave, and I see R flash on the screen before he shoves it in his pocket. He's nervous, distracted, and I know Rachel's expecting him in Philadelphia tonight. He's walking into my trap, and for the first time in years, I feel in control. The Morrison house looms ahead, its brick facade glowing under the cold November streetlights, and my heart hammers as I grip Ethan's hand in the car. My burgundy dress feels like armor, a bold choice that screams I'm done hiding. Mark's BMW is already in the driveway. He came straight from work, just as I planned. No time to call Rachel and cancel his Philadelphia rendezvous. Inside the formal living room is a stage set for judgment. Harold's scowl, Janet's regal posture, Sophie and Alan's eager smirks, all waiting to dissect Ethan's behavior problem. Mark's leg bounces, his phone clutched tightly, and I catch the flash of R on the screen before he silences it. The air's thick with expectation, and I feel the weight of my purse, heavy with evidence, screenshots, credit card statements, Ethan's tablet. I've spent years shrinking under their gaze. But tonight, I'm the one holding the strings. Janet begins, her voice sharp as cut glass. "Ethan, making up stories must stop." Ethan meets her eyes, calm as a lake. "I didn't make anything up." Mark snaps. "Don't talk back to your grandmother," his tone too harsh, betraying his nerves. I rest my hand on Ethan's shoulder, my voice steady. "Actually, I think we should hear him out." Mark's head whips toward me, his eyes narrowing. "Claire, we discussed." I cut him off, my words deliberate. "I think your family deserves the truth." The room freezes, Sophie leaning forward like she smells blood. Harold's voice rumbles. "What truth?" I pull Ethan's tablet from my purse, my fingers steady despite the pulse pounding in my ears. "Ethan, show them what you showed me." Mark lunges forward, his voice tight. "This is ridiculous." Harold's command cuts through. "Sit down." Mark sinks back, his face flushed. Ethan opens the tablet, pulling up the screenshot of Mark's phone. "Rachel, New York." Heart emoji, the text, "Can't wait to see you again. Same hotel." He passes it to Janet, whose lips thin as she studies it. Mark's voice is too quick. "That's nothing. A client." Sophie's smile is sharp. "A client with a heart emoji?" I lay the credit card statements on the coffee table, each one a carefully placed card in my hand. "The Carilla Hotel, Tiffany Bergdorf Goodman. All during your Chicago trip." Mark's face is scarlet now, his voice rising. "You went through my things." "Our things," I correct, my voice calm but unyielding. "Our accounts. This is a violation of our marriage." The room's silence is electric, charged with the weight of what's coming. Mark's phone buzzes, the screen lighting up with R and that damning heart. I meet his eyes, my voice soft but lethal. "Answer it. She's probably wondering why you're late." He grabs the phone, jabbing at the screen to decline the call, but it rings again, insistent. Alan smirks. "Popular tonight." A third ring, and Mark, flustered, hits the wrong button, speakerphone. Rachel's voice spills into the room, clear and intimate. "Mark, where are you? I've been waiting an hour. The champagne's getting warm." He fumbles, ending the call, but it's too late. Sophie gasps, her hand over her mouth. Janet stands, her face a mask of fury. "In front of your son?" she hisses. "You're doing this in front of your son?" Mark's sweating, his polished facade crumbling. "It's not what it looks like. I can explain." Harold's voice is iron. "Explain why you're getting calls from a woman with a heart emoji, while your wife shows us hotel receipts." I gather my papers, my hands steady now, tears prickling, but my voice firm. "Her name's Rachel Thompson, an investment analyst at your firm's partner company. This has been going on for at least 6 months." I turn to Mark, meeting his panicked gaze. "I gave up my career for you. I endured your criticism, your family's condescension. I tried to be what you wanted." My voice trembles, but I don't break. "But it was never enough because the problem was you." Mark tries one last time, his voice cracking. "Claire, let's discuss this at home." I shake my head. "No, Ethan and I are staying elsewhere tonight. You'll hear from my lawyer, Diane Hartley." Harold stands, his height imposing. "You humiliated your wife in front of us, insulted her while cheating. I'm ashamed to call you my son." Even Sophie, who laughed at my pie days ago, looks sickened. I take Ethan's hand, his small fingers warm in mine. We're leaving. As we reach the door, Janet's voice stops me. Claire? I brace for a barb, but her eyes are soft. The pie was excellent. It always has been. I nod, unable to speak, and lead Ethan to the car. The night air is crisp, and as we drive to a nearby hotel, I feel the first breath of freedom, sharp and exhilarating, cutting through years of silence. The hotel room smells of clean linen and faintly of bleach, a stark contrast to the warm cinnamon of my kitchen. But as I tuck Ethan into one of the twin beds, I feel a strange relief. His eyes, heavy with the weight of tonight's dinner, search mine in the dim glow of the bedside lamp. Are we going to be okay, Mom? He whispers, and I smooth his dark hair so like Mark's, but softer, kinder. We will be, sweetheart, I say, my voice steady despite the ache in my chest. I've spent years shielding him from the cracks in our family, but tonight, those cracks became canyons, and I'm done pretending they don't exist. I kiss his forehead, and he drifts off, clutching his stuffed bear. I sit on the edge of my bed, the silence pressing in, my phone buzzing with Mark's texts. Claire, please, we can fix this. But I send one reply. Communication goes through Diane Hartley now. Then I turn it off, the quiet a small rebellion against his control. Morning comes gray and drizzling, mirroring the fog in my mind as I drive Ethan to school. He's quiet, clutching his backpack, but gives me a small smile as he heads inside. Love you, Mom, he says, and it's enough to keep me moving. I head to Maya's house, where she greets me with coffee and a hug that says she knows how deep this cuts. Word spreading, she says, pouring cream. Mark showed up at his parents' at midnight, drunk, begging them to talk to you. Harold shut the door in his face. I feel a flicker of satisfaction, picturing Mark's desperation, but it's fleeting. I've got work to do. Diane Hartley's office is my next stop, and I lay out my evidence again. Screenshots, statements, the burner phone texts. She nods, impressed. This is enough to push for a favorable settlement, she says. He'll want to avoid a public trial. His reputation's on the line. Diane hires a forensic accountant, and within days we uncover more. Mark opened a secret bank account 6 months ago, siphoning funds from our joint investments. He was planning his exit, ensuring he'd come out ahead while I played the devoted wife, oblivious. The betrayal stings, but it also fuels me. I meet with Diane daily, building a case that's ironclad. Mark calls repeatedly, leaving voicemails that swing from pleading to defensive. You're overreacting, Claire. Let's talk. I don't respond, letting Diane handle everything. She drafts a divorce filing, demanding the house, 60% of our assets, and substantial alimony. Mark's lawyer counters, but his position's weak. His family's outrage, especially Harold's, has left him isolated. Back at home, I move carefully, keeping up appearances for Ethan's sake. Mark's staying at a hotel, his things still in our closet, a reminder of the life I'm dismantling. I find another receipt in his desk drawer, a $500 dinner at Per Se, dated last month. I add it to my file, each piece a brick in the wall I'm building between us. Ethan notices the change in me, the way I stand straighter, the burgundy dress I wear again, not caring if it's too much. You seem different, Mom, he says one evening, helping me chop vegetables for dinner. I smile, slicing carrots with a precision I used to reserve for pies. I'm figuring out who I am, sweetheart, I say, and he nods, like he gets it. Mark tries to see Ethan, showing up at the house one evening with grocery store roses, the same ones he brought days ago, in a pathetic attempt at charm. For my beautiful wife, he says, but I don't take them. We're not doing this, I say, my voice calm but final. He shifts tactics, kneeling to Ethan's level. Buddy, you know I love you, right? Ethan's eyes are hard, his voice steady. You were mean to Mom. Mark flinches, and I feel a surge of pride for my son, who sees through his father's act. I send Mark away, telling him to schedule visits through Diane. He leaves, the roses wilting on the porch. The divorce moves fast. Mark, desperate to avoid court, agrees to my terms. The house is mine, along with most of our savings and alimony that ensures Ethan and I are secure. I move us back home, but it feels different now. Lighter, like the air's been cleared of his judgment. I start sorting through our things, packing Mark's suits into boxes, each one a step toward closing this chapter. Ethan helps, taping boxes shut with a seriousness that makes me ache. Will Dad be okay? He asks, and I pause, choosing my words. He'll figure it out, I say, but we're focusing on us now. He nods, and I see the weight lift from his shoulders, just a little. As I fold a sweater, I realize I'm not just leaving Mark. I'm leaving the version of myself who lived for his approval. And that feels like freedom. The kitchen smells of fresh coffee and warm bread as I stand at the counter, rolling out dough for a batch of biscuits, the morning light soft through the window. It's been 3 weeks since the dinner that shattered everything, and the house feels like mine now, not just a stage for Mark's family dramas. Ethan's at school, his backpack slung over one shoulder as he left with a quick hug, his smile brighter than it's been in months. I'm different too. My movements looser, my burgundy dress swapped for jeans and a sweater that feels like me. Not the Clare who dressed to avoid criticism. The divorce papers are signed, the house and most of our assets secured, and I've started something new, a marketing consulting firm for women-owned businesses, a spark from my old career that's igniting into something real. My laptop hums with client emails, and for the first time in years, I feel a purpose that's mine alone. I'm kneading dough when the doorbell rings, and my stomach twists. Old habits die hard, expecting Mark or one of his family's cutting remarks. But it's Janet Morrison, standing on my porch, her silver hair neat but her face softer, almost uncertain. "May I come in?" she asks, and I nod, wiping flour from my hands, the violet apron tied tight around my waist. We sit at the kitchen table, coffee steaming between us, the silence heavy until she speaks. "I owe you an apology, Clare." Her words catch me off guard, and I wait, my fingers tracing the mug's handle. "I was cruel to you for years," she says, her voice low. "I saw you as less because you weren't what I expected for Mark. I was wrong. You were the best thing for him, and we watched him destroy it." Her eyes meet mine, and I see something new, regret, maybe even shame. "Why didn't you say anything?" I ask, my voice steady. "When he belittled me?" She looks down, her hands folding tightly. "Because Harold did the same to me 40 years ago, and his mother said nothing. I thought that's how it worked." The admission hangs between us, a confession of generational pain I didn't expect. She slides an envelope across the table. "This is for you," she says. I open it to find a check for $50,000 signed by her and Harold. "Janet, I can't." I start, but she cuts me off. "Call it a graduation gift for leaving our family's mess. Use it to start over, go back to school, travel, whatever you choose." Her smile is sad but genuine, and I nod, the gesture feeling like a bridge I didn't know we could cross. She stands to leave, then pauses. "Rachel left him, 2 weeks after you did. She prefers her men married, it seems." I laugh, a real laugh, sharp and surprising, and Janet's eyes soften further before she goes. I tuck the check into a drawer, not ready to decide what it means. The biscuits go in the oven, and I sit, thinking of Ethan, how he's thriving without the tension that used to choke our home. He's joined the drama club, his grades climbing, and when he sees Mark every other weekend, he's polite but distant, his trust fractured. Mark's tried to blame me, saying I turned Ethan against him, but I know the truth. Ethan saw his father's cruelty long before I did. My phone buzzes with a message from Maya. "Dinner tonight? Bring dessert." I smile, already planning to bake a pecan pie, not for approval, but because I love the way the kitchen smells when it's in the oven. I meet with a new client that afternoon, a woman starting a bakery, her enthusiasm infectious as we brainstorm branding ideas. It's strange, stepping back into a world I left to raise Ethan, but it feels right, like slipping into a favorite pair of shoes. I'm not just a homemaker anymore, not just Mark's wife or the Morrisons' punching bag. I'm Clare, building something new, piece by piece. When I pick Ethan up from school, he's chatting about a play he's auditioning for, his eyes bright with possibility. "You're happy, Mom?" he says, and I realize he's right. The weight of pleasing others is gone, replaced by a quiet strength I'm still learning to trust. As evening falls, I bake the pie, the familiar rhythm of measuring flour and sugar grounding me. Ethan helps, cracking eggs with a grin, and we talk about nothing important: school, movies, the way the sunset paints the sky pink. It's enough. For years I thought happiness meant perfection, a flawless pie, a spotless house, a husband who stayed. Now I know it's this: moments with my son, a life I'm choosing, not enduring. The oven dings, and the pie's golden crust gleams, just like Mom's always did. I'm not cooking for judgment anymore. and that freedom tastes sweeter than any dessert. The evening air is warm, a soft June breeze carrying the scent of blooming jasmine as Ethan and I sit on our porch, plates of pecan pie balanced on our knees. The sunset paints the sky in hues of orange and pink, and I savor the flaky crust, the sweet crunch of pecans, the simple joy of eating something I made just because I wanted to. Ethan's beside me, his legs swinging, a smudge of filling on his cheek. "This is the best one yet, Mom," he says, and I smile, my heart full in a way I hadn't thought possible 6 months ago. The house behind us feels like ours now, no longer haunted by Mark's judgment or the Morrisons' expectations. My consulting firm is growing, my days filled with meetings and ideas, helping women like me build dreams they thought they'd lost. Ethan's thriving too, his drama club performances lighting up his face, his laughter louder than it's been in years. We're writing a new story, one where we don't need anyone's approval but our own. I think back to that November night, Ethan's 5 words, tell them about New York, cracking open the truth I'd been too afraid to see. I spent years perfecting pies, smoothing over Mark's cruelty, believing if I tried harder, I could fix us. But Ethan saw what I couldn't, his courage giving me the push to uncover Mark's affair, his secret accounts, his plans to leave me with nothing. Exposing him at that dinner, watching his family turn on him, was terrifying but liberating. Now, Mark lives in a small apartment near his office, his BMW passing our house sometimes, slowing as if he's looking for a glimpse of what he threw away. I don't look back. Ethan sees him every other weekend, but their time is strained, conversations short. Ethan told me last week, "Dad says he's sorry, but it doesn't feel real." I hugged him, knowing my son's heart is wiser than Mark's ever will be. The pie recipe, framed in Mom's handwriting, hangs in the kitchen, a reminder of who I was before I let others define me. I bake when I want now, for Ethan, for Maya, for myself, not for judgment. Last week, I taught a marketing workshop at the community college, my voice steady as I guided small business owners, their eager faces reminding me of the ambition I'd buried. I'm Claire again. Not Mark's wife, not the Morrisons' scapegoat, but a woman building a life on her terms. Janet's check sits in a savings account. I haven't touched it, but I'm considering a trip with Ethan, maybe to the mountains, somewhere we can just be. Her apology lingers in my mind, her admission of enduring Harold's cruelty, a mirror to my own silence. I broke that cycle, and that's enough. Ethan sets his plate down, leaning against me. "I'm proud of you, Mom," he says, his voice soft but sure. "For what?" I ask, though I think I know. For being brave, for showing me it's okay to stand up, even when it's scary. My throat tightens, and I pull him close, his warmth grounding me. "You showed me first," I say, remembering his steady gaze at that dinner, his 5 words that changed everything. We sit in silence, the crickets starting their evening song, and I feel a peace I'd forgotten was possible. Mark's lies, his family's barbs, the weight of perfection, they're gone. Replaced by this moment, this boy, this life we're choosing. As the sky darkens, stars peeking through, I think of the question I've asked myself since that night. Have I stayed silent to keep the peace, only to lose myself? I did for too long, but not anymore. Ethan and I are enough. Our love's stronger than the facade I once clung to. The pie's delicious, as it always was, but now it's mine, made with love, not fear. That's the only approval I need. The porch light casts a gentle glow as Ethan and I finish our pie. The plate's now empty, the night settling around us like a soft blanket. The air is warm, filled with the hum of summer, and I let my shoulders relax, the tension of the past year fading with each breath. I look at Ethan, his eyes reflecting the stars, and I see a future we're building together, one small moment at a time. The pain of Mark's betrayal, the sting of his family's judgment, feels distant now, like a storm that's passed. I've found my voice, my strength, in the quiet acts of baking, working, loving my son without the need to prove anything. The house, once a cage of expectations, is a home again, filled with our laughter, our dreams. Janet's apology, Maya's friendship, Ethan's courage, they've woven a new thread into our story, one of resilience and truth. As I gather our plates, Ethan's hand slips into mine and we step inside, the scent of jasmine lingering. I don't need perfection anymore. Just this, us together free. The world is wide, and we're ready to meet it, our hearts open, our steps light, our story unfolding like a whisper on the wind.